when you buy equity shares, you largely buy for the long run, right? That is what Jeremy Siegel says, right? Stocks are for the long run, it is not for the short run. And in the long run, there are two things you get. One is you get capital appreciation, and one in which you get dividend. Largely you buy for both, a combination of dividend and appreciation. But given these market conditions, I don't think there are too many shares which you can buy just for the dividend, because the dividend yields are very low. Also, the market prices are so high that if you think that you are going to get a residual value far higher than the price at which you bought, seems to be very wrong. I do not know whether that will also happen, right? So if you see any chart, whether it is US or India, over 30, 40, 70 years data, I do not know how accurate the old data is, but if you see these charts over the long period, you realize that equity is for the long run, and equity does give you good return. And there are two things. One is the dividend and one is the appreciation. The appreciation part is difficult because it will go through absolute gut wrenching volatility, right? So if you take any share over a long period of time, suppose you track Johnson and Johnson, internationally speaking. I don't like to give Indian company examples simply because people think it's a tip. If you go and buy Johnson & Johnson, be my guest. I'm not giving it as a tip, I'm just telling you the kind of dips that Johnson & Johnson has seen, whether it is 2000, 2002, 2008, 2015, right? Seen a lot of dips. However, one thing undeniable about Johnson & Johnson is the amazingly steady dividend and amazingly rising steady dividend. So over long periods of time, it is dividend which matters. Of course, there will be appreciation. A company which pays good, regular, solid dividends twice a year or maybe 4 times a year, obviously this company will get a very good PE also. So of course, there will be appreciation of the stock, but largely if you concentrate on the dividend, if you concentrate on dividend income, cash flow, and now it is taxable in your hands, which means it is attractive for most people. Earlier we were all paying 28% tax. Now somebody could be paying 20, somebody could be paying 42. But yes, for most of the people, paying tax on your own is much better than paying tax of 28%, right? So to get these good returns, you have to wait through long periods of very bad share performance. Now, how to tackle that? How can you handle the fact that there will be very poor performance for long periods of time? If you buy Hindustan Lever, let's say Hindustan Unilever, there is no great dividend yield as of today, but over the period of time the dividend yield will improve, especially as you go on reinvesting the dividend. So if you buy 1000 shares of Hindustan Lever, that's a big amount, you will keep getting dividend on those 1000 shares. With those 1000 shares, you keep buying more and more of Hindustan Lever. So let us cut it down to say 100 shares of Hindustan Lever, and you get a dividend. Use the dividend to buy more shares, right? As simple as that. So good dividend reinvested, because you do not need the money. Is there tax on dividend? Yes, there is tax on dividend. Will there be TDS? Yes, there will be TDS. So whatever net you get, after that you can still buy more of Hindustan Unilever shares, so that over a period of time the dividend yield starts looking good, because you have acquired at different prices, right? And since you have acquired over a long period of time, you will have low cost shares, high cost shares, and all the shares bought every year with the dividend, right? So when you do all that, you are showing two things. One is you're showing the market that you have staying power. Only people with staying power can achieve anything. Look at cricket, right? You have to be willing to stand there, take all the knocks. See what KL Rahul did. See what Shikhar Dhawan did. See what Virat Kohli is doing, right? These are people who are coming in the middle, taking all the brunt of the media, taking the balls on their chest, on their heads, on their helmets, on their four fingers, right? They're taking all those hits, and they're showing one thing to the world, that they have staying power. I do think that this Indian cricket team has fantastic staying power, and therefore they are getting the successes. Is this the best phase of Indian cricket? By far, yes. We have gone to Australia, beaten Australia. We have beaten England in India, and I'm sure we're going to beat England in England, right? So by far this is the best team, and there is one thing which this team is also showing: tremendous ability to sit there and prove to the world that you can achieve it. Right now, take the case of concentrating on the dividends. When you are very clear and focused that you will look only at the dividend, you do not look at the daily price fluctuation in any share, and every share price fluctuates, even whether it's a share which is not much traded or not much invested, like Ashai India Glass. Even that changes price, right? It's not a great share in terms of volumes or anything, but that also changes price. Obviously a Reliance and an SBI and an HDFC change prices far more often, because lot more trades get done in these shares. However, if you are willing to say, I will not look at the share price movement at all, I will only look at the dividend, I will look at the dividend, I will see whether the dividend is rising and whether the dividend is rising at a rate greater than inflation. So last year the company paid 10 rupees dividend on whatever the share price was, and this year the company is paying 11 rupees dividend, which means there is a 10% increase, or maybe there is an 8% increase. It pays 10 rupees 80 paise next year or whatever. You know one thing, that this company has a proper dividend distribution policy, and far more importantly, the rate of growth of dividend income is greater than the prevailing inflation rate. So it really takes care of inflation. Now, if you are a retired person with a lot of money in equities, you will see that your dividend keeps growing enough to match inflation. If you spend something very big, it is a different thing. But assuming the money that you spend on your building maintenance, on your telephone bill, on your food, etc., etc., that grows at say 7% and your dividend grows at 8%, or that inflation impacting you is 5% and dividend is growing at 7%. If you have a portfolio where you get enough dividend and you know it will grow at 7% or slightly above the inflation rate. If inflation is 5 and dividend grows at 7, you're great, because your real return is still 2%, right? So if you can look at the dividends alone, concentrate on that, then your life investments are good, well taken care of without having to worry. And even during your retirement, your corpus may not have to be touched for long periods of time if you can live off the dividend, because dividend is growing at a rate greater than inflation. Thank you.